now, everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Runtimes show. It's Matt, and it's just Nick. We lost Keith. No, he's not dead. He just couldn't attend because he fought a bar. Literally fought a bar, like a place where you go and drink. He fought it and lost. So he's not on this episode of Thrones Time. We're not really doing that many yet because we're not fully into the 8th season of Game of Thrones. So we're just trying to do spot duty, maybe 1 or 2 shows a month. But once the show kicks off in April 14th, that is, you're for damn sure you'll be hearing all 3 of us talking about our favorite fantasy land that HBO has ever featured in its programming. All right, Nick, so it's been a while since we last talked. Hell, for you, it's been well over a month because you couldn't make the last one. So we've got a few news items to go over. I mean, I wouldn't say anything is new or shocking. The newest item, I think, dropped last week, and that was the reveal of brand new official stills from the film. So we're going to save that for last. But there are a bunch of other things that we've kind of just let lie and build up in our little Slack chat. Yes, we're professional people here at Thrones Time. We share our little topics to discuss. So let's go ahead and kick off one of the first ones that we have not talked about. And it's something we've talked about in past episodes of the show, like how long are these episodes going to be? Because if you remember, people, we're only getting, 6 total episodes in Game of Thrones Season 8. And I think earlier you, myself, and Keith were like, okay, 6, not our preference, so they better be long ones. And now we have our answer, right?
Yeah, we do. And to be honest, at first look, I thought they were going to be longer than what was revealed.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the way they were making it sound, at least going while they were filming and while it was in production, it sounded like each episode was going to be almost, the length of a movie, an hour 20, hour and a half, something like that. But that's not necessarily the case, at least for a handful of them.
Yeah, so basically this French site, kind of dug this up and found it out. But basically the first 2 episodes of Game of Thrones Season 8, 60 minutes, which I think is a travesty, especially considering we haven't seen a new episode in 2 years. And then once it does debut, we're going to get a little bite-sized, normal-sized episode. So, I mean, that kind of bums me out.
Yeah, it definitely does a little bit. Like you said, we've been waiting a long time for this final season. So I guess they're just going to make us wait, give us a little tease, and just kind of go with what they think. At this point too, the showrunners have done an amazing job with it. I'm going to put my trust in them that they picked the right runtimes. Hopefully they weren't.
Fuck those guys. We know better than those guys. I mean, we're sitting here doing a podcast in our basements. It's not like they're moving on to make a Star Wars trilogy or anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's not important, right?
No, I mean, I don't know. I guess as a fan, I would have liked to had like a 90-minuter to welcome us back, to really let us settle in, kind of nice slow boil reintroduction to the show and the universe and the people and where we're at. But no, we're going to get a little quick one and then another quick one, and then we're going to start getting... this site reported the last 4 episodes will be 80 minutes a piece, which isn't bad. I mean, that's like these days for me, it's like watching a Disney movie with the kids. So not bad, but being a greedy fan, I would have liked those 80s to be closer to 90s. And like I said, I would have liked at least the premiere to be a little longer than the 60.
Yeah, I mean, you think about HBO shows and especially the one that's on now, True Detective. It's been a couple years since season 2. They weren't sure if they were going to come back for it. Then when they did, they dropped the first 2 episodes back to back. So I kind of thought maybe Game of Thrones might do something a little bit similar. Maybe not necessarily 2 episodes right away, but I definitely would have expected longer.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Give yourself like an hour 20 right off the start. I like that. So were those True Detectives? Were they 60 and 60?
Yeah. Give or take. They were. Whatever normal hour, between 48, 60 minutes.
That's a good idea too. See, we should be in TV. What the fuck are we doing? So, hey, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, we knew it was going to be short in season. I think we were hoping for a little longer than 80. It's not. It is 80, and that's what we're going to get, and we're just going to have to see if it works out on the 14th. I'm sure it will, but being a fan living in America, of course we're gonna bitch and moan and complain because that's what we do,
Well, and
right?
there's still so much to happen in the show that it feels like 6 episodes, even if 4 of them are extended by 20 minutes, still doesn't feel like enough.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, come on. I mean, season 7 was shortened, and we didn't like that
A lot of
in terms of episodes. I mean,
yeah, and pacing too, and being able to travel as quickly as they did after taking so long in the previous seasons.
yeah,
But
Jon
yeah,
Snow's fucking Superman, dude.
he was, man. If he could earn airline miles, he would be
Yeah.
set.
He just uses his breath and blows it in those sails, and those motherfuckers take off,
Yeah.
doing like 80 knots. I don't even know if that's feasible, but that's how fast he travels. All right, so moving on to the next one. This is something you dug up, I believe, Nick, and it's an article about Sophie Turner. If you're not in the know, that's the girl that plays Sansa. If you didn't know that, you're an idiot, and you're not really a Game of Thrones fan, so turn this shit off right now. Okay. Anyways, apparently Sophie, who's been with the show from season 1 and could very well make it to the end of season 8, you never know. But apparently she's got together with her girlfriends. I'm sure she's told her hubby too. Are they married yet? They're just dating the Jonas boy.
I have no idea. I don't.
I
I only
I'm
keep
proud
up
of
with
him.
fictional relationships, not celebrity relationships.
Got
So.
you. I give him credit because I'm a short guy too, and short guys dating much taller women takes balls. So good for him. Anyways, Sophie went ahead and spilled the beans about Game of Thrones, right? I mean, she's told a few people the ending.
Yes. So
Is that even legal, dude? I mean, when it
Well,
comes to these contracts, I mean, is that even legal?
I mean, I would assume not. Especially, I mean, so you think about the episode. I guess it was the episode last season that leaked early, and even before then, actors were kept under strict, don't talk about this contracts. And so the fact that she just came out and was like, "Oh yeah, I told a couple friends." Like her exact quote is, "I'm so bad at keeping secrets. I don't think people will tell me things anymore because they know that I can't keep them." And then she goes on to say, "I've already told the ending of Game of Thrones to a few people." Like what? Like just nobody asked or pressured her. She just, I guess, voluntarily was like, "Oh, here's what happens, by the way."
Yeah, she can't handle it. It's just like, oh, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
Everyone dies.
yeah. It's
I can tell you right now, if this happened on like episode 9, the person would probably be killed. I mean, they're keeping this shit so secretive. I mean, apparently only JJ knows the title. Richard Grant basically said he can't even tell his family who he's playing because of contract language.
hmm
So, and obviously this is up there with Star Wars in terms of secrecy and spoiler alerts. I don't know. I mean, it just seems kind of laissez-faire. She's like, hey, whatever. I'm fucking Sophie Turner.
Well, yeah, and if you think about it too, in previous seasons we've seen, pictures from people kind of taking a peek at the set and say, "Oh, here's Winterfell." We saw the picture a while back of what looked like Winterfell burning. But really, have we seen any other pictures from the set? I don't recall any.
No, none. I mean, it's almost like
there's
they shut that leak down as soon as that one got out.
exactly. So, with as big of a secret as everything is, and as tight-lipped as everyone is, for her to just come out and say, "Oh yeah, I told a couple friends," I'm like, why? Why are you doing this?
Do you think this is a case of like, well, they can't fucking fire me now, and there's nothing in the language that says they can take my money, so what the fuck do I care? I mean, that's all I can think that, or she's just like, fuck everyone.
Well, I feel like there's got to be something in the contract that's like you can't say anything until the episode has aired.
I
like that would
agree.
make sense to me. Like obviously, yeah, they're done filming, they're done production. It's coming out in a couple months. She's not tied to it anymore as far as acting goes. But there's got to. I'm sure there's something in the fine print of the contract that prevents them from saying anything before the episode itself airs.
I mean, I could see close family, maybe a spouse.
I mean, sure, but then all it takes is one loose slip or one slip of a conversation at a drunken dinner party, and
yeah, no, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
So I was kind of shocked by this too, and I honestly I don't think HBO gave two shits because we didn't really see anything after this, and this came out almost a month ago. So
yeah,
3 weeks ago is when this was first reported, and she's still alive. So I guess the bros don't give a shit.
I wonder if they filmed alternate scenes, and they were like, you know what? If any of these actors slip up, we're gonna change their story in the show.
Yeah, well, you could. I
But
mean,
no, I don't.
I know
I
you
think they're
love when
pretty
I
much
bring in
set. But
Star Wars, but they did that for the Vader reveal.
hmm
Like they kept giving everyone different scripts until the actual shoot, and then that's when they dropped it in.
yeah,
So I don't know. Hey, more power to her. I guess she's like, fuck it, on to Phoenix, right? She's like, I
yeah.
got Phoenix promo to do. I don't give a shit about these motherfuckers anymore. Man, I
Back to
am
the superhero world.
explicit tonight. I am explicit tonight. It's been a long day, people. Put the kids to bed. We've got the parental advisory sticker anyways on our podcast, so fuck it. All right, dude. Moving on to another one you dug up. I'm a huge fan of this type of shit. I mean, I was just looking this week for the Vans, see if I could dig up the Vans Star Wars high top collection, but missed out on that. But Nick found a post. Apparently, Adidas is teaming up with Game of Thrones to release some GoT themed Ultra Boosts, which I'm guessing is one of their running shoe lines,
Yeah,
and you're definitely gonna have to pay for it.
yeah. So basically, yeah, as Matt said, Adidas is releasing some shoes. Their Ultra Boost is one of their popular running shoes. Super comfortable, very nice shoe. But with these, at least for right now, I don't know when Adidas themselves is planning to release them on their own. But this one we found was through basically a shoe dealer, so to speak.
The GOAT.
Um, I don't know how they got their hands on them or anything like that, but they're upwards of $200 to $300 a pair. But the shoes, there's about 6 or 8 pairs of them. Represents different houses: Lannister, Stark, Targaryen, the Night's Watch, the Night King and his army, and some of them are pretty cool looking. A couple of them for the houses have the sigil and the house saying on the back of the shoe as well. So just a friendly reminder too, that the Lannister saying is not "a Lannister always pays its debts." It's "Hear me roar." I forgot about that until I read this again. But yeah, the shoes look really cool, and I'm hoping someday to get a pair.
Yo, man, did you check out the GOAT site?
No.
This is my type. I mean, they have like exclusive sneakers galore. I mean, I'm gonna be scanning through this when we're done. Holy shit! Get some classic Air Maxes. I mean, I'm still looking to find some replacements for my waffle trainers. Can't get them anywhere, man. Wow. Well, hey, good find. That's a GOAT. Buy and sell authentic shoe. Okay, hey, you learn something every day. Now, I mean, so what do you think about these shoes, dude? I mean, price aside, let's say price isn't a factor. Would you whip any of these?
Oh, absolutely. It'd kind of be a toss up because I'm kind of looking through them now. The Knights or the Night King ones, I believe they're basically all white.
But they
White
have like that
sole,
blue hue to them,
kind of
almost.
like a little bit of a
Yeah,
bluish
dude,
hue
that's
in the toe and the
exactly
heel.
exactly
Yeah,
where I was going right there.
yeah, those, and then I like the Targaryen, the black and the reds.
Oh man, that white and blue is fucking sexy as shit. Look at those things. Yeah, I know you guys can't see it because we're just talking, but if I remember, I might link it in the post. So are the Targaryens like those funky ass black and orange?
Yeah, they're the black and orange, and
Like
then
the front, the toes all like funky
mhm.
orangish reddish, and then it fades to black.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then on the back, on the tag, on the heel, it says "Fire and Blood."
Night's Watch
Um,
isn't bad either.
yeah, that's not. Are those the gray ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's two. There's like a black gray and then an all gray.
Well, I think one of them is for House Stark. I forget exactly which one.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, it's
but
the
yeah, they're
blackish grays
definitely.
and Night's Watch. Hey, either way, these are pretty badass looking. I'm not gonna throw out that type of money. I mean, I've got a collecting bug elsewhere that runs me a couple grand a year, so I got to pick and choose what I waste my money on, and it's not shoes anymore. But
If
I
you
love
had
shoes, man. I mean, I'm not hating on people that collect shoes. I get it. I mean, I collect fucking Star Wars Barbie dolls. It's all good. But shoes
if
are
you,
pimp.
if you had to guess, how many Funko Pops are you up to now?
I stopped.
Oh,
I
you
don't know if you
stopped.
guys knew that, but it's been last year I stopped buying any pops outside of Star Wars, so it's been drastically reduced, but replaced by much more expensive Hot Toys figures. They're like $200 a Barbie. So yeah, I just whatever. I'm a disaster when it comes to this stuff, man. I
Well,
mean,
hey man, your Instagram's blowing up with those pictures. So
yeah, there you go. If anyone likes Funko Pops and you want a shit ton of them, let me know because I'm ready to just like seriously back up a U-Haul and dump them all out outside of my Star Wars buddies. It was a sickness I had for a few years. I woke up from it and I literally go in my basement now where I have them all set up. There's probably 700 of them, and I'm just stunned that I let myself do that. I'm like, I could have so much more cool shit than these fucking things. But hey, it happens. You know, collectors, you know what I'm talking about. We go in phases. Line comes out, blows us away, consumes us. We waste a bunch of money and then we hate it. It's just how it is.
that was
I'm not
that was
proud
my
of
life.
it.
That was my life with baseball cards when I was a kid.
Yeah, man.
Spent so much money on baseball cards and did not see the return on those that I was hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, in our generation, our parents all lied to us, telling us that baseball cards were cool. I mean, yeah, they were good back then in like the '60s and '70s when they were super rare. But once you know modern printing and Upper Deck shows up, it's like okay, we'll just print fucking 8 billion rookie cards of this best player of all time, so it's worth nothing.
Yeah, and when a buddy of mine spends $1 on a pack of cards and gets a $60 Michael Jordan card, and I spend $20 on packs of cards, and best card I get's a $5 John Stockton, I know my luck's not in it. So
I did, dude.
I
I was a big card collector too, man. I loved it. I mean, baseball. I remember the first time I saved up enough money to buy a full box.
Mhm.
Remember, like you were awesome back then. If you were like, yo, I bought the fucking box.
Yep.
You know, Upper Deck, like I'm gonna buy this box. And I know I'm gonna get a hologram card in this shit. Man, all right, reminiscent. Love the '80s. Love the '80s. All right, dude. So moving right along, going nice and quick through here. Don't want to waste anyone's time. You know, although it's fun to be thronesing it up. So Super Bowl, my friend. We got at first when I first glanced and saw this, I'm like, fuck yeah, we're getting some Game of Thrones shit. And I start watching. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But by the end, I was like, you know what? That was some damn good marketing on behalf of Bud Light and HBO. And what I'm referring to, Nick, is the Game of Thrones X Bud Light official Super Bowl 53 ad. The extended version, that is, that you can check out on YouTube. It's got over 7 million views, so it's definitely popular with the Thrones fan base. But if you haven't seen this, it's just a really well done commercial that starts out as like, oh, this is going to be a cute little Bud Light Super Bowl commercial. It's like medieval times. They're at a joust. Everyone's drinking. And look, they're calling the night Bud Night. Ha 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 ha. Look, he looks like a fucking case of beer, right? And then everything's going along and he gets ready to joust. And then you see this ominous horse hoof come down. And you're like, uh-oh. And then the two riders charge each other. And the mysterious rider just blasts Bud Knight off his horse and then stands over him and just fucking crushes his face in like Gregor. And that's where we realize this is fucking Gregor. So
Yeah.
what'd you think about this, Nick? I mean, obviously we would have preferred just a straight up Game of Thrones trailer. I mean, we have not gotten one yet. I mean, the one Keith and I picked apart in the last cast, that was all symbolism. I mean, that was
Mhm.
that was a footage shot for a trailer. We still have not seen anything from the season outside of maybe a second in HBO's, hey, this is what we're doing in 2019 sizzle reel. So how did you kind of interpret this commercial? Were you like me at first and thought it was legit? Or did you go along with the gag and you just kind of appreciated the marketing genius behind it?
I definitely just thought it was a Bud Light commercial. And honestly, I'm over the whole night medieval marketing thing that's been going on for the past year and a half, 2 years. So I'm hoping that the combination of Gregor crushing Bud Knight and then one of the dragons coming in and basically burning everything is Bud Light's way of saying, you know what, we're going to move on from this campaign. We're going to try something else. I did like it. I thought it was good. I thought it was funny. I was a little surprised that, and maybe I've missed something here. I'm a little surprised that it's taken this long for Game of Thrones to cross paths with commercials and other promotional aspects like
Yeah.
Bud Light.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they haven't needed it, and I really think this was more of just it was a Super Bowl. I mean, we didn't need reminded of Game of Thrones, but we didn't
Hmm.
need reminded of Avengers Endgame either, and we got some of that.
Right.
I think this is just like, hey, this is our final hurrah. This wasn't even like supposed to be a Game of Thrones commercial technically, and the way they did it as like Game of Thrones literally just came in, took over the fucking commercial, kicked everyone's ass, like Nick said, like fuck all you idiots. It's enough with the Bud Night. It's time for Game of Thrones. I like that aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, dude, any type of advertising's horrendous. I only watch advertising during the Super Bowl. That's
Yeah.
it. I mean, does anyone voluntarily watch advertising? I mean, unless you have to do a stream that has forced ads at this point in time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only other event that kind of tends to release some new footage, and mostly I watch it for, Game of Thrones trailers or movie trailers. But I was watching the Grammys this past Sunday night. They released the new Aladdin trailer. They released a new Dumbo trailer. So it was kind of
God,
cool
how
to see that.
bad was
But
that Aladdin trailer?
uh, I'm not very excited. I'll tell you
We're
that.
gonna have, I think we'll have differing opinions on Aladdin in general, because again, this was the '90s, I believe, so I was in high school.
Hmm.
I'm not, dude. I love Disney. No
Yeah.
problems with Aladdin. Love playing it on the Genesis. But that live action fucking teaser was the biggest pile of vomit I've ever seen. And I'm not just talking about the complete abomination of Will Smith as the genie. Nothing against Will either. It's like who sat there and looked at that and said, "Oh yeah, it looks good."
I personally like all the memes of people replacing Will Smith with Tobias Funke from Arrested Development. There was one where someone photoshopped his face on Will Smith's body, and I
Yeah.
take that as the genie.
Yeah, it's just like some guy on the toy photography community on Instagram did it. He's like, dude, I mean, not to me. He put it out on his stories. He's like, this took maybe 20 minutes, and he slightly like altered the jawline of Will to make it look more like kind of the rounded square jaw of the genie from the
Hmm.
cartoon, and it looked a million times better. It still looked like Will, but it definitely felt more like the genie. So I was just blown. I was like, man. Disney is so fucking arrogant now. There's like, fuck it. We'll put out
Yeah.
whatever the fuck you want, and you assholes are going to eat it up. I mean, the CG in the Aladdin teaser looked on par with Attack of the Clones from 2002. I mean, you could tell everyone was in a fucking green screen studio. It just looks like balls.
Yeah.
Moving on. Sorry, I go on tangents every once in a
Yeah.
while. But yeah, so R.I.P. Bud Knight. He's dead. Gregor, fake Gregor, whoever, smushed his head in. I mean, that was the best part of the commercial to me is when he crushes dude's head and it literally sounds like he's crushing a can. Just brilliant. I mean, brilliant marketing from top to bottom on this. I'm sure people made some cash. CBS got $5 million for it to run, or $2 million for 30 seconds. Gotta love it. Go capitalism. All right, so to kind of round home on this episode of Thrones Time, we saved the best for last, and I don't know how much we can dig out of this. I mean, we can put our speculation hats on and try to take some guesses. But HBO finally released 14 stills from season 8, and the stills are mostly what I'd call character portraits of the remaining mains, if you will, for the show. So I guess, Nick, just to kind of kick things off, did any of these stand out to you as being revealing? Did you pick up on anything from any of these shots outside of, oh, Varys is back from wherever the fuck he went,
Yeah.
and it looks like he's at Winterfell?
Yeah. It's nothing. It's nothing revealing. I mean, there's Bran sitting in front of a fire, which is probably going to be all he's going to do the rest of the series. But yeah, it's just a close up shot of a handful of characters. Doesn't really give much away. As you mentioned, probably the biggest one is that Varys is back. It does look like he's in Winterfell there, which would make sense. Yeah, nothing's really given away other than John and Dany are still together. They look like they have some new coats, which is nice. But Yeah, there's not a lot to
Yeah,
go off of
Arya's got like
in
a
these
new
pictures.
she's got like a new half throw.
Yeah,
She's wearing one of
yeah.
those. Yeah.
Cersei has her new look that we kind of saw at the end of last season
Yeah,
with
she's got her
the
pauldrons
black
on.
chain, the mail up to the neck. She's got the shoulder guards on.
Yeah, she's ready to
Um,
fucking play some football.
mm-hmm.
I think Nick, if
Yeah,
anything, with these pictures show or could reveal, there's a good chance that this season's contained between Winterfell and King's Landing.
yeah.
Because I believe every shot outside of Cersei is at Winterfell.
I think you're right there
I mean,
because
maybe the Jon Snow Dany, they're approaching Winterfell, and he's like, "Oh, look, that's my home." Blah blah blah. But I mean, everything. Even Jamie, I believe he's sitting in the hall somewhere, just based on the lighting and the dankness. I mean, we know Sansa's there. We know Arya's there. Dinklage, that picture's very clear. That's Winterfell. Danny's in Winterfell. Varys is there. Yeah, I mean, so do you think the entire season the story will be contained between those two, or do you think they'll have to break out somewhere else to maybe finish off the Night King or get finished off themselves? I guess.
I mean, I think you're spot on. I think it takes place between those two places. Which, if you think back to the very very first episode, it's Winterfell and Robert and the Lannister clan and everybody is coming from King's Landing. So
Yeah.
right off the bat, the show starts with the two locations meeting up, and I think that's probably how it's going to end too.
Yeah. No, you're probably exactly right, because I'd imagine everyone's probably going to be close to or at Winterfell by the end of episode one. Those that were traveling there, at least.
hmm Yeah, I mean, I think Varys is going to come back to Dany and Tyrion. Um, Everyone else, as you mentioned, is already there. Dany and John, we know they're there because we saw that one clip where John introduces Dany to Sansa. So we know they get to Winterfell at some point.
So, do
And
you
yeah,
ultimately think then by episode 6 things are migrating south again towards King's Landing?
yeah. So that's what I'm trying to figure out is what happens first. Do they battle and defeat the Night King and then try to take on Cersei for the throne? Is
Okay,
it vice
yeah.
versa? Does it happen kind of simultaneously? Because we do see the vision or the dream that Dany had where she's in King's Landing, she's in the throne room where it looks like it's burned down or the roof was blown off. It's snowing or it's ash, whatever the case may be there. So I have a feeling we're going to see that vision come to life. So I think she eventually does make it to King's Landing at some point. I just, is it before, during, or after, the different battles that are going to take place?
It's a good question, one that, unless you're a writer, I think's near impossible to speculate on. Because I mean, we know everyone's headed to Winterfell, including the Night King. I mean, he's well on his way. You would have to imagine that they're going to have some sort of mega battle up there.
hmm
And you know what Cersei's doing? I mean, she's essentially either going to send people in to clean up the remains, or just sit back and hopefully let the Night King waste everyone, and then before he comes down to kill her.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's not going to go well for her if she waits
No,
around.
I don't know. I don't know how they write. I mean, obviously they're geniuses. They'll do it perfectly. Hopefully, my feeble mind can't really piece together how they're gonna reintroduce the whole Cersei plotline, which is fucking massive. I mean, one of the
Yeah.
biggest of the series, back to the North plotline now.
Well, and if you think about it too, and we talked about this on the last season's pod at one point too, when John and Cersei and Danny and everyone meet in the dragon pits and Cersei sees the white coming right at her before the Hound yanks back in the chain and they show different ways of how to kill him. You know, at that point I was like, okay, this is the breaking point where she's like, oh wow, there is something bigger out there. My problems aren't that big of a deal compared to what's coming. But then 5 minutes later, we learn she's basically lying to John. She's not going to send help to the north like she promised. That's when Jamie leaves her, of course. So I'm curious to see if there ever is anything that gets Cersei to wake up and say, we have to take care of this as civilization as humans. I have to put my differences aside. But
No, you're right. I mean, dude, I could see the Night King killing Jamie in front of her and then ripping her unborn child out of her stomach while she's still alive, and her still not giving a shit. Like, still not being motivated to take him out. Just, she'd be like, all right, you good now? Can I have King's Landing back? See ya.
All right, and you're 100% sure that she's pregnant. I know we've talked about this before, but I'm not sold.
You think she's doing the old shady, hey, I got your baby, don't hurt me trick, or you can't leave me because I got your baby?
I think it's a game, but
yeah.
I
mean, based on these images, she's definitely not showing. Well, not
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean, we got to assume that this season's picking up. I mean, in Game of Thrones time, pretty much directly at the end of 7.
Right.
I mean, the last thing we saw was the fleet headed back to Winterfell. You know, you had Jon getting his little wanko on with Dany, and Tyrion getting all jealous, playing with himself in the corner. So I don't know. I mean, dude, it's almost here. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty much 2 months to the day out, because it's February 13 today when we're recording. This will probably go live, I don't know, tomorrow, Friday. So, you know, we're 8 weeks away. I anticipate we'll probably get at least a legit trailer before it fully drops. But you never know. I mean, what the fuck do they care? I mean, they know the audience is built in. They know the hype is. There's nothing. No more money needs to be spent at this point, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about it, and the only news that came out is some new pictures. Like
and they're the dumbest pictures of all time. Like
right.
Literally portrait shots.
Yeah. Yeah. They give very, very little away, other than, you know, as you said, probably the biggest one is Varys being back in town.
So, well, you know what we'll do. You know, myself, Nick, and Keith, if he stops fucking with bars.
Not bouncers, just the bar itself.
Yeah, we're not kidding either. Like, he literally fought the bar, and the bar won.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea. Don't drink and fight. I learned that lesson at a young age. It's not good, especially if you don't throw the first punch.
Well, especially if that thing you're fighting is an inanimate object, too.
Exactly. Concrete walls will win all the time. Trust me. My hand has lost many a fights, and maybe my forehead. All right, man, I think we got it all covered. Is there anything I missed, or do you want to mention that I forgot?
No, I think I like you. I'm just waiting for an actual trailer. I'm sure once that gets revealed, you know, if that's it within the next couple weeks or so, hopefully we'll hop back on the mics to dissect every second of it.
Oh yeah, that might have to be like an emergency cast.
Yeah.
You know, we usually like to try to give ourselves a few days notice. I mean, if we get a legit trailer, that's going to be, all right, DEFCON 2, all hands on deck. We're running it. We're rolling the mic. So stay tuned for that, people. We can only hold out hope that we are going to get an actual look at the season. But if we don't, I'm honestly not going to be surprised. So until then, stay warm. Winter is definitely here.